Mark Holland is the House Leader for the government side. And Mr. Holland, good to see you again. And I understand you're fighting the effects of COVID-19. I hope it all goes well for you and that you come through it okay. Good to see you tonight.
Thanks so much, Peter.
Why did your government feel you needed this deal with the NDP?
Well, I think, after the last election 6 months ago, it was very clear Canadians wanted us to work together on the priorities that we ran on and other parties ran on. And so we had, over the last 6 months, been looking at areas of overlap, areas of common ground. And as we worked through that period of time, particularly with the tumult that we've seen and the rancor, it became obvious that that finding a way forward that would allow us to ensure stability, that still recognizes that we have big differences between our parties and allows for those differences to take place, but creates a framework of stability was important. Go ahead.
Can you respond to the opposition criticism today that if that this deal is effectively, political blackmail and a Justin Trudeau power grab, buying a longer life in government by promising to satisfy a few NDP priorities? Respond to that.
Well, we're in a parliamentary democracy, and in a parliamentary democracy, all parties in a minority context have to work together, and they have to find a path forward. And that's exactly what we've done. And so to characterize that as anything other than parliamentary collaboration is unfortunate. I think that the opposition, particularly the Conservatives, who have been really full of partisan rancor, need to take a step back and ask what Canadians expect of them in a minority government. There is a responsibility for shared governing. There's a responsibility all the time. Remember, this is a supply and confidence agreement. Most things are not supply and confidence. Right. So there's every opportunity for them and other parties to find common ground to get things done instead of just opposing and being angry all the time.
Liberals didn't campaign on a national pharmacare plan in the last election or a national dental plan. So why is it suddenly a Liberal priority now? And who gets credit for making it happen when, and presumably if it does, who gets credit, the Liberals or the NDP?
Well, first, Peter, on the pharmacare piece, we have campaigned on pharmacare, and we had a Dr. Eric Hoskins who is leading up task force of how we could make that work, working with provincial and territorial partners. And it's a complicated piece, but it's one that's essential that we get done. And I think with respect to dental, we recognize that there are countless Canadians who are in a circumstance where they don't have coverage. This specifically is going to be addressing families with less than $90,000 in income who are incredibly stretched with all kinds of demands on their budget, and dental care is extremely important. So, what we've always had as a commitment is to improve the lives of those that are in the middle class and those who are struggling and working hard to join it. And I think those priorities fit very well with what we're trying to do as a government overall.
Can you promise the NDP, as is one of their demands, that any new spending on defence, a lot of conversation around that these days, that if there's any new spending on defence in the budget, it will not come at the expense of those NDP priorities?
Well, we've made a commitment to increase our defense spending by over 90% from where it was. I believe it was at 2017 levels, certainly much higher than it was during the Stephen Harper period, because we recognize and we watch what's happening in the Ukraine and elsewhere in the world that Canada has an incredibly important role to play militarily in helping to provide peace, order, and stability. With our partners. And, we've always been incredibly prudent when dealing with the fiscal framework and making sure that we fund the commitments that we make. And I think there's every opportunity for us to do that important work in defense and also be able to deliver those services that are critical to help those that are in the middle class.
All right. Mark Holland, Government House Leader. Thanks for your time tonight, and be well, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much, Peter.